Who's actually getting the most out of the Simrad GO9 XSE? If you're a weekend fisherman who just wants a clean screen to see where the fish are, this could be a solid match. If you're a seasoned offshore captain who already runs a multi-screen setup with a dedicated radar unit, you might find the price a stretch. And for anyone who's just looking for a cheap way to add a few dots on a map, the question is whether the extra cost really translates into everyday value. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last week sitting on a dock, pulling the unit out of its box, wiring it to a basic VHF, and taking it for a couple of short trips on a 16-foot skiff. The hesitation I felt before buying was classic. Do I really need a 9-inch touchscreen when a handheld GPS could do the job? Will I end up paying for features I never use? Those are the exact doubts that keep a lot of buyers from committing to a Chartplotter that's marketed as a complete navigation solution. First off, the GO9 XSE is a single-screen unit that packs a lot of software into that 9-inch panel. The biggest draw for most people is the inclusion of the CMAP Discover chart card. That means you get access to worldwide coastal charts right out of the box, without having to buy a separate subscription. For a boat owner who sails the Gulf of Mexico or the Great Lakes, that's a real convenience. You can zoom in on a marina, see depth contours, and plot a course without ever leaving the screen. In practice, I found that the chart loading was snappy enough for a quick hop to a nearby inlet, and the auto-zoom followed the boat smoothly as we picked up speed. The unit also supports Sonar and is radar-ready, which sounds impressive until you remember you still need to purchase a transducer and a radar antenna separately. If you already have a fish finder that talks NMEA01A3, wiring it to the GO9 is straightforward. The built-in connectivity handles the data stream, and the chart overlay shows fish arches right where the depth changes. That's a genuine advantage for anglers who want a single view of both navigation and fish location. I tried it on a morning bass run and could see the school appear on the screen as we moved into deeper water, which helped us find a sweet spot without constantly checking a separate fish finder. Now, who should walk away? The first group is the budget-only crowd. If you're happy with a handheld GPS that points you to a dock and you rarely need detailed charts, the GO9's price is hard to justify. The unit sits in the $1,200 plus range, and while the CMAP card is a nice bonus, you could buy a comparable handheld with a basic chart package for a fraction of that cost. The second group is the power-hungry offshore crew who already run a full suite of navigation gear. The GO9 single-screen layout limits you to toggling between map, sonar, and radar views, which can feel cramped when you need to monitor several data streams at once. If you prefer a multi-screen cockpit with dedicated radar and depth displays, you'll probably end up adding more hardware anyway, eroding the supposed all-in-one appeal. On the practical side, the touchscreen is responsive even with gloves on, which is a small but vital detail when you're handling lines. The UI is organized around Simrad's smart menu system, so you don't have to hunt through endless submenus to change a waypoint or adjust a sonar setting. In a real-world scenario, I was pulling in a tide-driven shrimp boat and needed to tweak the depth filter on the fly. A couple of taps, and the view updated without any lag. The built-in Wi-Fi makes it easy to pair a smartphone for remote control or firmware updates, something that many older chartplotters lack. The weaknesses are less about performance and more about expectations. The screen, while bright enough for midday sun, can be hard to read in direct glare unless you angle the unit just right. That's not a design flaw so much as a limitation of a 9-inch panel. Larger units often include anti-glare coating or higher brightness levels. Also, the lack of an integrated transducer means the purchase price doesn't include sonar hardware, so the total cost climbs quickly if you need both. I also noticed that the radar-ready claim is more about the connector than an actual radar solution. You'll need a separate radar system and an antenna mast, which adds both weight and expense. What about durability? Simrad's marine gear is built to survive splashes, salt, and occasional drops. During my test, I accidentally knocked the unit against a hard plastic rail while rerouting a cable. The screen survived with just a faint scuff and no loss of functionality. That kind of resilience is comforting for anyone who knows that a boat's console can be a rough environment. If you're a casual boat owner who spends a few weekends a month on a lake or a short coastal trip,